Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is officially the new year, and I'm going to start off by talking about intentions. So you already know, most of you guys already know how to set intentions, and I have a special way that I personally like to set intentions, and I made a video about that. I'll link it down below. But everyone is totally different, and this was a conversation that I had this morning over the phone, and I felt like it was the perfect time to address it now as we're all setting intentions. And what I want to do is avoid us from blocking our own flow, even though we're setting intentions. So there is no right or wrong way to setting intentions for things that you want to manifest or creating magic in your life, but their energy is so different based upon the person who is setting the intent, or the person who's doing the magic, or what it is that they're trying to manifest. And because everyone and everything is so different, not everything is always going to work. And on social media, on the internet, on websites, on blogs, everyone says the same thing pretty much for how to set intentions, and across the board it does work, but there are some variations every once in a while. So for this person in particular who I was talking to on the phone, she has a lot of fire and air within her chart. And with her, she was getting so frustrated because she felt like when she was setting the intentions that it was like blocking her, that she didn't really know exactly what it is that she wanted to narrow her intention down to. So she was getting so frazzled and frustrated because there's nothing for her to visualize in order for her to bring it to manifest itself. Now, me personally, I'm earth energy, I'm a Virgo, and I have a lot of water in my chart. So that's earth, grounding, and building, and water is feeling and intuition. So for me personally, what works for me is I will visualize what it is that I want, listening to my intuition, see it, and then write it down and build from it. And that's what works for me. But for people who aren't entirely sure what it is that they want, or don't know what it is that it looks like, or maybe there's multiple things, you don't, that method won't work for you in the same way that it will work for someone who can actually visualize it and see it. And for that type of person, they can really find themselves getting frustrated again and again and again, and almost spinning themselves in this like tornado wheel, because the things that they're just not seeing progress. They're not seeing movement or momentum, or if they do, the movement is really scattered. So with that, I want to remind you guys that everyone is so different, and there isn't one right way to do everything. And what I recommended to this person over the phone, my client, was to she can't expect herself to know and to see what it is that she wants, because her life in general is not something that you plan, or that is something that is concrete. For some people that have a lot of fire in their chart, or a lot of air in their chart, or maybe their personality, or the phase that they're in their life, it doesn't warrant a plan. It wants you to stay open, to stay flexible, to stay spontaneous. And that's just where you're at in your life. That's what the universe has for you. So for that person to try and put a plan on something that's spontaneously meant to happen within their life, it creates a blockage, it creates frustration, and it blocks the blessings, it blocks magic from happening, it blocks the intention from manifesting itself. And they feel like they're not powerful. They feel like the things that they want in their life aren't going to come to fruition because their energy is scattered, or whatever the case may be. So all of this is to say too is that I'm not saying that you don't set intentions. Boop, my battery's gonna die soon. I'm not saying that you don't set intentions. What I am saying is that you stay open to the creation process, and I'll tell you how to work your magic and to set intention in order to maximize the benefit within your life, whether you know what it is that you are trying to manifest and build, or whether you are in a space where you need to stay spontaneous and open to it. Okay, so most people across the board know generally what it is that they want to bring into their lives. Sometimes it's something, let's say it's something so simple like, I want to have a partner. I want to share my life with someone. So some people, or they want to get married, they want to have a second shot at love, or they want to have a first shot at love. Well, sometimes what people do is that way, and we're all guilty of this, is we visualize it as we expect it to be. So if we're thinking marriage, sometimes for us women, I'm just going to use this as an example, we imagine in ourselves like we're the perfect wife, we're grounded, we're in a house, we're cooking, we're, running the kids off to soccer camp, whatever the case may be. And that's what we visualize when we say, I want to share my life with another person. But your spirit, when it hears that, it says, no. The spirit says, yes, you do want to share your life with another person. You do want to find a significant other. You do want to get married, whatever the case may be. But this aspect of being in a home and running the kids off to the soccer camp or whatever the case, and there's nothing wrong with it, but when that person senses that, their spirit says no. Their spirit says yes to sharing a relationship, but no to this particular way of the relationship looking like this. So, sorry guys, if you hear any noise, Franklin is playing with a paper towel. So anyways, back to my train of thought, which was your spirit knows that it wants to have something. So in this case, it's a love relationship. But in our human minds, we picture it a certain way. But the universe is wide and expansive, and it's filled with endless opportunity and endless potential, which means that the relationship and your spirit knows that you do want to share your life with another person. This is the example that I'm using, but you don't have to share it in the way that society pictures it. So the spirit, your spiritual self, your intuitive self knows that you need to set the intention to share your life with another person, to invite love into your life, to open up to the idea of marriage and sharing and commitment and intimacy. But it also is signaling that you open up to the relationship, but it doesn't need to that doesn't mean that you have to have this like structured routine within your life, because that's not what the universe has for you. So all of that is to say that sometimes how we get a signal and we know that there's something that it is that we want to manifest in our lives, but the way that we perceive it, or the way that we're thinking about it, and the way that we expect it to come in is what actually blocks the blessing. And for those type of people, you really have to take a step back. And if your spirit is telling you this is what it is that you want, you have to then realize that, okay, this is what I want. I'm setting the intention for that. Let me back off and allow the universe to guide me to what it is that I want to have in my life. So it's not as specific, it's far more open. Because remember, as human beings, we're so limited in what we can visualize for ourselves. And sometimes we're limited, but other times we can overthink things and over visualize things and completely lose ourselves in all the details, because that's the blessing and the curse of being a human with a human mind. But the universe knows, and the spirit knows, and they're constantly talking together in order to guide you in as far as what is for you specifically. So sometimes you may get a signal that yes, it's time for you to travel, or yes, it's time for you to open up to love, but maybe the way that you open up to love, or the relationship that you should have in your life doesn't look like this picture, and you're forcing yourself to put yourself in this box. So that's why when you move forward, not only are you blocking the relationship, or you're blocking that thing from manifesting itself, because your spirit has signaled, no, that's not actually what you want. Yes, you're close because you realize that you want the relationship, but the relationship is not meant to look like this. So this person in particular, back to this example, this person in particular in this conversation that I had, she was like, I want a love relationship, or I want to travel, but I can't do both. I can't have a home and, because she was visualizing that if she was going to be a wife and she was going to get married, then she was going to get back into this image of what it meant to be a wife. So that she would be in this house, driving, going to work 9 to 5. But her purpose and her reason for being here is bigger than that. So she was designed, and her love life and everything within her spirit is saying, look, you have to get out. You have to be out in the world. You have a lot of people to heal. You have a lot of people to connect with. And she felt a push-pull, meaning like I really want to share my life with another person. I want to get married, but I can't do that. But I also want to travel, so I don't have time for a relationship because I'm going to be traveling. The reality is that she could literally have both if she set the intention and allowed herself and didn't box herself into this vision that she was forcing upon herself. If she said to the universe, you know what, I want a relationship and I want to travel, and leave it at that. Or she says, I want my relationship to look like this. I want to do this with them. I want to feel this way. And I want to, when I travel, I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. She can actually have both, and the universe will work to bring her to what it is that she wants, because within her spirit is signaling her to ask for these things. But it was her own limitation, her own inability to see the potential, the vastness that can happen for her, that stopped her and was blocking her from inviting that blessing into her life, from manifesting that intention. Because her spirit, even though it said yes and was telling her, yes, you're on point with asking for this love relationship, but your love relationship is not going to look like what society says, a love relationship should look like. So if she then says, I want a partner who is excited about traveling. I want a partner who is going to, cater to me. I want a partner who's going to be, when I'm not making suggestions for travel, he's going to be making suggestions for travel. So it's not me all the time coming up with these ideas, and we both get excited and we explore the world together. And that's possible. So she could actually be in a committed relationship, be married, and have the most non-traditional relationship, but guess what? She's happy as all hell. Like, she's so happy because she followed her spirit, she followed her intuition, and she spoke it to the universe, and those things manifested themselves. So really what I'm saying here is, you guys, that not everyone is going to be able to see exactly what it is that they want to bring into their life. And you guys already heard me say this, and if you haven't, then you can see it in my link below, where I was talking about how to set intentions and that feeling. When you set the intention and something within your spirit says, no, ding, 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 red flag, this is not what you want, or no, this isn't right, you revisit it and you step back into it and you're like, okay, being honest with myself, I'm asking for this job, or I'm asking for this opportunity, but I don't want it to look like this. I want it to be like this because I want to experience this too. So it's not for you to figure out and to know how every step of the way is going to unfold. It's not for you to know every single blessing that's going to come into your life, because sometimes the universe is full of surprises, and sometimes there's things that we don't even think to ask for, that if we allow ourselves to remain open and honest with what it is that we want in our life, yes, we get what it is that we want, but then we get even more than what we even thought to ask for ourselves. So I hope that this makes sense. I don't know if I'm missing any key pieces to this conversation. If I am, then I'll make a part 2 to this video, but I think I'm good. But really what it is that I'm saying is, you guys, is that, for some people, you're not designed to know everything. And I actually have a client that I worked with for a long time, and her energy was so different from others. And the way that, for a lot of my clients, I say, set the intention, visualize it, and then work to bring it to, take a step back in order to allow it to manifest, and be in a space of being open to receiving it. But for her, it almost seems like, okay, her life was going to take her along this path. And for some people, they know the direct path, but for her, her path in life was going to be so spontaneous that neither her nor I could predict it. All we had to do was stay open and work together to be like, okay, this is the next step, and then we move forward. And that was just how her life was. And she had a life that was going to be more spontaneous, more, not that it has more adventure, because no one is better, more or less than the other. Everyone's life path is different. But hers was going to be this like spontaneous unfolding of like surprise after surprise after surprise. And it would have been a beautiful thing, but it's not something that we could have predicted. So some people they have that life path, and all you have to do is stay within your feelings and listen to your intuition, and not trying to figure it all out. Figuring it all out is just your logical mind trying to make sense of something that is spiritual and energy and magic. And magic is not meant to be understood. It's meant to be worked. It's meant to be built upon. It's meant to be magical. It's not something for our physical, mental, human brains to figure out, because it's not meant to be understood. All right, you guys, that's the beauty of magic. So I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any other questions about anything else, leave them down in the comments below or send me an email at BehatiLife@gmail.com. I've got a crap load of readings that I need to get started on. It is 2018 after all, so most of my readings that I'm doing today are going to be new year ahead, what this year has in store for my clients. So I need to get the ball going on that one. I love you, and we'll stay in contact. Bye.